IPMNation.com.
You are listening to WMNHLP, Manchester's radio, broadcasting at 95.3 megahertz frequency modulation from the top of 1000 Elm Street. Our studios are located at 1045 Elm Street and licensed to Manchester Public Television Service in Manchester, New Hampshire, USA. Contact us by email at WMNH953@gmail.com or through our website at WMNHradio.org.
John Walker Lind, the man known as the American Taliban, was released from federal prison Thursday morning. Lind was captured in Afghanistan after the September 11th attacks. He pleaded guilty in 2002 to providing support for the Taliban and was sentenced to 20 years in prison. He was the first American detainee to be convicted in the War on Terror. As of Thursday, Lind had served 17 years of his sentence. His early release was for good behavior. Senators Richard Shelby and Maggie Hassan sent a letter to the Federal Bureau of Prisons last week opposing Lind's release. They said they're concerned that Lind may still be holding on to extremist views. Lind will serve the next 3 years on supervised release. During that time, he won't be able to have a passport and he can't use the internet without being monitored. Lind is also required to undergo mental health counseling.
I'm just an American boy, raised on MTV, and I've seen all the kids in the soda pop bands, but none of them look like me. So I started looking around for a light out of the dim. And the first thing I heard that made sense was the word of Muhammad, peace be upon him. I sure knew, la ilaha illallah, there's no God but God. If my daddy could see me now, chains around my feet, he don't understand that sometimes a man's got to fight for what he believes. And I believe God is great, all praise due to him. And if I should die, I rise up to the sky just like Jesus, peace be upon him. I shall do, la ilaha illallah, there's no God but God. Were pure and strong, and death filled the air. We all offered the present, prepared for our martyrdom. But Allah has some other plan, some secret not revealed. Now they're dragging me back with my headless sack to the land of the I shall do, la ilaha illallah. I shall do, la ilaha
كذلك يضرب الله للناس أمثالهم.
Hello, it's me, candidate for president. A person with a face. A person whose hand gestures are definitely not weird. My advisors say that these sepia-toned photos of my parents are proof of my human origins. Wherever I go, so do lens flares and fields in sunlight. Machines spark in the foreground when I tour the few remaining places where they manufacture things. Here are a bunch of different people, matched with career signifiers, like a helmet, a uniform, or a stethoscope, on the off chance that you identify with one of them. And here's a guy with a belly, a beard, and a hard hat. I talked to this guy, I think. My favorite place is a local diner, because it makes me seem like a regular Joe, and makes white people feel safe and full. But I'm not racist. Here's a Hispanic family who doesn't mind being associated with me. And if you're thinking about retirement, here are some old people smiling. Thank God they're still alive to vote. I love the sunrise, and I hate thunderstorms. But my opponent disagrees with me. My opponent thinks thunderstorms are good. And these people, why are they in your backyard? What do they want? Are they there to take all of your money? Are they there to kill you? Probably. Because I'm not president. Yet. I understand there's a lot to worry about right now, like healthcare and taxes and foreign policy and thunderstorms. My record shows that I can construct a narrative by keeping the details pretty vague. Families, the economy, faith, and education are all things I've addressed in non-specific ways. But I'll put these particular words right on the screen because they always get applause. Great, nation, troops, more, less, budget, security, veterans, children, jobs, future, strong. See, you can't deny that these people are clapping. Did I mention I'm super capable? I can stand behind a podium. I can look out a window. I can shake hands. I can make the skin around my eyes crinkle when I smile. I can make my family hug me. I can even pose for selfies. Right now is a critical time because of the past and the future and this American flag. I'm a candidate for president, and I endorse this message. Unless you disagree, in which case, I had nothing to do with it.
This is an NBC News special report.
I'm Chuck Todd, and no one remembers hiring me. The New York Times has obtained 10 years of figures from President Trump's tax returns, and for many of those years, he lost more money than any person in America. The White House insists this is fake news, and the president is going about his normal day.
I was worried the day would come when everyone would find out that I was the worst businessman in history. But now that it's here, it's not so bad. Oh, am I kidding, Rudy? I'm so freaking embarrassed. Be honest. Do you think being exposed as a broke fraud will affect people's perception that I'm not a broke fraud?
Don't get so worked up. Everyone's public persona is a little different than who they are. Did you know that Johnny Carson was actually really shy?
Fascinating, but not the same. We gotta get out of this news cycle. I need you to FaceTime Brian Williams, and I'm gonna show him my junk.
Oh, great. There goes $300 in oysters.
This is like that dream where you show up to class and you're wearing a shirt that says, I'm the worst businessman in the world.
Hey, look me in my weird dark bottom teeth. You are the most powerful person in the world, and no one can take that away from you.
Vice President Joe Biden's poll numbers are surging well ahead of Trump in states across the country.
I'm sure it's just the blue states.
Including Texas.
There it is. Let it out. Hey, you don't need to be president. You're rich. Oh, wait, never mind.
Here was Biden earlier today somewhere.
Voters are getting behind my inspiring message. If you elect me president, Trump won't be president. That's a good campaign slogan. Maybe we can steal it. I just gotta not say anything dumb for 18 months. All right, let's get some questions. You there with a religious hat.
And it's not just Joe Biden. Every other Democratic candidate is beating Donald Trump. Even Pete Buttigieg, who is the Chuck Todd of the candidates. And maybe the worst news for President Trump, the Democrats are firming up a date for Robert Mueller to testify. Get your popcorn.
Hey, look at you! You heard all that news and you haven't morphed yet!
Here it comes. Morning routine complete. Rudy, today's gonna be a great day.
I mean, it's not funny. It's not funny.
Sequence starts. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
If I ever got impeached, I think everybody would be very poor.
Hey, everybody, welcome. It's that time again. Matt Connarton Unleashed in the afternoon. We are live on WMNH 95.3 FM in hot, sticky downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. It is so humid. Wow. Summer's coming. I'm telling you, we went from winter to summer. Anyway, yes, we are live on WMNH 95.3 FM and Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester. Streaming worldwide at WMNHradio.org and on Facebook via Facebook Live on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. It is Thursday, May 23rd, 2019. 603-250-6007 is the number to call. 603-250-6007. And, of course, you can always interact in the Facebook live chat as well. Let's see. I see Ed Murphy in there, as well as Fred Bonig from the Daily Ripple. Let's see. Fred liked my choice of John Walker's Blues to open the show by Steve Earle. Yeah, it just seemed appropriate. John Walker Lind, the American Taliban is what they used to call him, released from prison after 17 years. When that song came out, at the time, and Fred, I'm sure, remembers this, and others of you probably do as well. It was pretty controversial. A lot of people were upset about it because people were like, "Oh, why is Steve Earle sympathetic to a terrorist, or why is he being complimentary to a terrorist?" And of course, that wasn't the point of the song. He wrote the song from the point of view of John Walker Lind, you know, this teenager who, you know, got sucked in and radicalized and became a jihadist, you know, because he thought it was an interesting subject to explore. And how does this happen? You know, and if you pay attention to the lyrics, it talks about how, again, it's from the point of view of John Walker Lind and how, you know, he feels alienated, he feels lost, and you know, that's kind of what happens, you know, whether it's becoming a terrorist or getting sucked into some sort of cult or whatever. You know, they prey upon people who feel lost, who don't have a direction, who don't know what they're doing with their lives, and you know, really young people. It's not unusual for young people to feel that way, you know, and the alienation that he must have felt to have allowed himself to get sucked into that. But, of course, you can't do something like that, you know, and explore those topics without a bunch of idiots taking it wrong and going, "Oh, Steve Earle, what is he, a terrorist now?" I mean, that's the kind of thing people were saying at the time. It's like, no, dummy, he's not condoning anything. He's not condoning terrorism. He's not pro-terrorism. He thought artistically it would be interesting to explore this subject and try to see it through the eyes of John Walker Lind. That's not the same as, you know, that's like saying if somebody makes a movie about a serial killer that the director of the film must be sympathetic to serial killers or maybe wants to be a serial killer himself, you know, but this is, it's too sophisticated a concept for some people to understand. So anyway. I think it's a great song. Hello to Rhonda Ostrowitz of Favero in the Facebook live chat. Pete Donovan, hello. I see Jenny in there. Hello. So again, that's one way to participate in the show today. And of course, you can give me a call, 603-250-6007. It's like I feel like when I was a kid, I remember, I'd go out to the Midwest to spend the summers with my mom, and we would go to Six Flags Great America. Or actually, at the time, back then, I think it was simply called Great America. It was this giant amusement park, and then it was eventually bought by Six Flags. And now Six Flags, they've got all these different locations, and they had this thing called Tropic World or something, where you go in and, you look at these animals that you would find in a jungle or whatever, and it's like, there would be rainstorms inside. It was in this big dome that you go in, and it's supposed to be the same environment, like if you were in like some sort of tropical jungle or whatever. And that's what it feels like in here in the radio studio today. I feel like I'm in Tropic World or whatever the hell it was called. I don't know, Amazon World or something. I don't know. Anyway, and I wore I'm wearing a nicer shirt than usual. I usually just show up in a t-shirt, but then the reason I wore a nicer shirt, and I'm regretting it now, wearing this long sleeve shirt, is so immediately after this program, I've been invited to be a guest on the weekly Dion with the wonderful Ben Dion. He texted me. And Ben Dion and, of course, his father, Darryl Dion. And, they usually pop in a few minutes early on this show on Thursdays, and then they're immediately after the show at 6 p.m. And I've been on there once before, but Ben asked me if I wanted to come on tonight. But I know that when I'm on Ben's show, presumably I'll be seated over there on the couch, and I won't be able to escape the cameras as much as I usually do. So I figured I better wear a nice shirt. On my show, I use the overhead camera for, any of the shots that I'm in. And then, there's close-ups for other folks in the studio, but I only use the overhead for me. I don't use the camera that's right in front of me because I just don't, I'm not that crazy about, well, maybe we should try it since I'm wearing a nicer shirt today. Let's see. No, I'm not feeling it. Okay. So I just don't like the way I look on webcam. I just, because that's what they are. They're like security cameras or something, Oh, you know what it might be? Now, this never occurred to me until now, because it's always been a little bit of a mystery to me why I'm perfectly comfortable in front of an actual television camera. I've done some television. I'm very comfortable in front of a television camera, and yet I'm not comfortable in front of these like security style cameras, and I don't like the way I look on them. I think I just realized what it is. When I see myself on a security camera, I feel like I'm being watched by someone who's trying to catch me doing something bad, and that's just no good. I'm a paragon of virtue. I don't even, actually, that's not true. That's not true. I will admit this, and I don't take any pride in saying this, but should I really? Yeah, I'll admit it. I have a tendency to jaywalk out here on Elm Street, and they have cameras now, allegedly on Elm Street now, or they're putting them in. I think they're already there. I think I may have been seen jaywalking. That's why I freaked out. Yesterday, we're here. Jenny was here. She was on the couch over there, and she asks me, Matt, there's a helicopter out there, like really close to the building. And I was like, oh, my God, they found me. I panicked. I freaked out because I thought, well, clearly they've caught on, and they know that I've been jaywalking, and they're here to arrest me. I don't think they actually arrest you for that, but you never know. I mean, hey, when Trump ran for president, he said he was going to be tough on crime. So I just want to refresh this video on my computer. I want to make sure I'm still on, because I just got this thing on my phone from Facebook saying video blocked, or maybe it's only a portion of the video was blocked because of a copyright infringement. We don't run into that too much anymore with this show, because we just appeal them when this happens, because we're on a licensed radio station. I can't tell if Somebody in the Facebook live chat, please let me know if I'm still on. It says the video's been blocked, unless it's an older one and it's not the current one. Oh, actually, we're getting a call. We'll go ahead and grab this. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, Matt, it's Skumpi.
Jeff Skumpi Lorenz?
Come on, you keep screwing with that. Come on now, you know better.
Well, to me, you're just Skumpi.
You son of a bitch. I heard that clip from yesterday. It's like, oh, man, that's funny. But
how are you?
No, it's so cool.
How are you?
I just want to call in. I'm good. I'm really very, very good. I just want to call in and say everything's good. Me and Peter are good.
Good.
Keep Easy G. You know, he should have never said, I was there and where was Peter? You know, you're right.
Right. It really is Easy G's fault, is it not?
I think, yeah, because he was there and Peter wasn't, and he made a point out of it. And, Jesus.
Yeah, there he is crying in the background. Yeah, I mean, he was egging us on. He kept going, oh, Peter White wasn't there. Oh, yeah, it's all Easy G's fault.
Well, I think what I did is I hurt Peter White's feelings, and I didn't mean to do that.
Oh.
You know, I love Peter White.
Yes.
I've been doing the show forever, and because he wasn't there, I mean, maybe he can't be there, but...
Yes.
You know what I mean? I love as a friend just coming, you know, it's the people in the club. It's not the people say, we're going to go, you know. I know you both, you plug it. You plug the shows. It's awesome.
Yes, yes.
And I appreciate everything. But, you know, I just won't ask Peter White for anything ever again. I'll do the show and I'll have fun.
Yes.
And he's still one of my best friends, and that's all there is to it.
Right.
And keep Easy G out of the mix, and it'll probably be pretty good.
That's right. Yes, that Easy G, he's a troublemaker.
Oh, boy, is he ever, huh?
Yes.
He doesn't mean to be, though. The thing is, I love Easy G, but he's, oh, boy.
Yeah.
He brings the worst out of everybody.
Yep, and, he'll be disappointed to know that, well, this is what I heard anyway. You can confirm or deny it, but I heard that you guys, DEF CON, were going to do a live show at Creamland, but now you've decided not to. Is that accurate?
No, you're right. We're going to do an unplugged over at the Goldenrod.
At Goldenrod, I thought so, yes. That's very exciting.
It's going to be an unplugged show. Unplugged, yeah. We're going to do a lot of acoustic. It's going to be beautiful.
That's excellent. And I'll be there, and Peter White won't be there, and it'll be great. And Easy G might be there, but only problem he's going to have is if he goes, he might get fired.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. Well, we don't want him to get fired, man. Come on, Easy G.
Right.
We're going to stick up for him.
That's right. Yeah. Well, he said he was. He said he was threatened.
I don't know. Goldenrod's offering me more money than Creamland. So where am I going to go?
Well, I've heard they generally pay more.
They do.
Yes.
And they have their seafood play. The seafood plate is less money than Creamland. So where are we going to play?
Right. And Peter White told me they have, because apparently Peter White goes to Goldenrod all the time. And he tells me that they have many delicious meals there that you can't get at Creamland.
We have another runner-up, though, the Clam King up in Derry. Oh, boy. Instead of $24.95 for a scallop plate, $15.99, man. $16.
I remember going to Clam King years ago with Norm. Wow. Well, very nice. So, any?
I don't know, man. I'm just calling you. I'm just, trying to stir the pot some more. So.
Oh yeah.
But I love Peter White. I love you.
Yes.
I love everybody. It's good radio, and yeah, God bless you, man. And thanks for the call the other day, backing me too. I loved it.
Yes, you're very welcome, Skumpi. It was wonderful to be there at the show to support you as a friend.
And you enjoyed it too, didn't you?
I did. Yes. That's what a real friend does. Shows
I don't know
up.
what songs you heard, but they were good songs.
No, I remember you played The Zoo by the Scorpions, Jailbreak by Thin Lizzy, Everybody Wants Some by Van Halen, and is it Fell on Black Days? I'm never sure of the title by Soundgarden.
Yes, Fell on Black Days.
Fell on Black Days,
the Chris Cornell thing, yep.
Yes. So I enjoyed those, and then but my tinnitus was it was loud in there. My tinnitus was my ears are delicate at this point, so couldn't really stick around much longer after that. But
my ears were delicate too about 30 years ago, and now, oh boy, I can't hear anything anymore.
Well, yeah, I remember you said
my wife actually works for an audiologist. So
yeah,
I go there and I get my hearing checked.
Yeah,
and all my high frequency is gone. I can't hear the high frequency. So.
Well, yeah, you were saying that the other day, and I suspect I've lost some entire frequencies too, because what I have noticed over the years is there are some things that other people can hear that I can't hear, and I'm like, I didn't hear anything because, and yet there's other things.
I'm the same. I am the same.
But there's other things I can hear that other people don't notice. So I think some of my hearing is still excellent, but like you said, you lose certain frequencies, but I think in other ways, I've just lost, I probably have the same thing you have. I've probably lost those upper frequencies. And I think, too, don't they call it nerve deafness? I mean, I'm sure your wife would know, like if you...
I don't know. Yeah, Mimi would know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But the other thing is, too, like my sight, I have a DOT license, right? I have I go for the DOT physical. They say I'm a 20/20 vision. I can read that thing. I can block one eye and block the other and read almost every line except the last two.
Yeah.
And they said, if you got, 3 more up, they said it's 20/20 vision. I'm better than that. But you give me a newspaper article, what the hell, or a menu in a restaurant, I can't read the thing. I go, how am I 20/20 vision when I can't read a menu?
Oh,
you know
really?
What I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I had the LASIK about 20 years ago, and so far so good. My eyes are.
Yeah, my sister had that, and she couldn't believe. She goes, I couldn't believe how blind I was until I got the LASIK, and she goes, oh my God, I can see everything now.
Yeah.
I don't know how bad your sight was before you got it, but yeah, she said, wow, she can see everything now. Crazy.
Mine was good enough I could get away with not wearing my glasses, but it was bad enough that I should have been wearing my glasses. But Skumpi, any updates on any of your film work, and let's make sure we plug the next DEF CON show as well.
I got a couple of scripts. I don't know when they're going to film them. They'll call me in when they're ready.
Okay.
I don't know. It's all good.
Yeah.
The movie Chance should be on Amazon Prime now, I think.
Oh, really?
And the Dinner Party should too.
Those are both on
full-length movies.
Those are on Amazon Prime now?
They should be, I think. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, Jenny and I will have to watch those because we watched the last two and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, the last two is cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool little short film. Yeah.
Good to see that. It was interesting to see you as a villain. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. And Peter White, if you're listening, I do love you, man.
Yes. And my understanding is, though, can you answer me this, Skumpi? Has Peter White watched the last two? Do you know?
I probably not. I gave him. In fact, there's a CD down there, a DEF CON CD that he played it once, but he had it for like over a year, and he finally put a song on it. Oh, really? Okay.
After a year,
and I don't have many copies, but there's one there.
Right?
Maybe you want to play a song off of that?
Maybe I will. Yeah, I'll have to take a listen to it. So after a year, he finally played a song, and he's never seen your film work. Well, he's busy though. He's a busy guy.
I don't think he's seen the last two. I really don't. Yeah. And he's good friends with Terry Traynor too. So.
Oh, right. Well,
I don't want to stir the pot. I love Peter White. No. We have a good time.
Right.
But there's no reason for him to blast me like he did the other day.
No. Right. Yes. And fortunately,
really?
Eric isn't here, Easy G, to provoke anything. So we're good there. No. So his lack of support for your film career is not a big deal. Not something we want to,
right?
Just, it's all good. Yeah, I mean, I've been to your show and watched the last two, but that's me. Not everyone's.
Well, Yeah, well, some friends, really, they back their friends up.
Right.
I come on your show. I love to do it. And,
Yes.
I'm hoping I add something to it, and I hope I add something to Peter's show, and that's why I do it.
Right.
I love all you guys.
Yes. Well, I appreciate it when you come in, and Peter, I'm sure, whatever, it's great.
We'll move on. We're good.
I know. I'm just glad Easy G isn't here to stir the pot. That's all I'm saying.
Wait a minute. How can I stir the pot? I love stirring the pot myself, though. But Jesus. Wait a minute. I'm all drunk. Oh, we better talk about something else. Yeah. No, I'm only kidding.
Stirring the pot.
I actually just got done cooking dinner for the wife. She's be home in about half an hour. So.
Oh, okay. You've been stirring the pot, literally. Stirring that Peter White stew.
I have. Yeah.
Yes. All right, Skumpi.
Oh. But anyway, Matt, here, I'm going to let you go.
All right, my friend.
I love you, man. I love Peter White. I love doing both shows. I think it's great. I think when you put that whole thing together, it was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
And Peter ragging on me. It's like a soap opera. It's great. You can bust my balls. I'll bust your balls. It's all fine.
Yes. Oh, by the way, you have a fan in the Facebook live chat. Thomas G. Spencer says, I know that voice anywhere. Oh, my God, Skumpi.
No kidding. Tommy Spencer. Yeah, he played in my band for a little while.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, he's a great, actually, he's a wicked drummer, and he plays for a band. He plays for a Priest tribute band now, guitar instead of drums. And it's like, I don't know why he's not playing drums. He's the best drummer ever.
Oh, very nice. Okay, well, that's great.
But yeah, hey, God bless you, Tommy. Peace.
All right, Skumpi.
He plays for a band called The Priest. The Priest. They do all Priest.
The Priest. All right. Well, very good. All right, Skumpi, we'll let you go, my friend. Thank you so much for the call.
All right, Matt. Thanks.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, Skumpi, Lorenz. Oh, Jenny messaged me. I had to, because, first Chris Rose messaged me and said, I'm not seeing your Facebook Live video. And so I stopped it and I restarted it. And then Jenny messaged me she's already appealing it. The dispute. Facebook is saying we have a copyright dispute, probably for that Steve Earle song. It's funny that this happens today, though, after this not happening for a long time. It's been a long time now, actually, since we've run into this. And the reason it's funny that it happened today is just last night, we were on the fourth floor there talking to someone about how we used to get these copyright disputes all the time, but then we just started appealing them. Like every time they pop up, we appeal it. Every time we get a dispute through Facebook, we appeal it, and we just kept doing it, kept appealing it and saying, look, we're broadcasting from a federally licensed radio station. So, and what we found is if you keep doing it, eventually they back off and say, okay. But apparently in this instance, it's just odd. We had that conversation last night, and then sure enough, today we have this issue again. That's the same reason why, like, if you ever listen to the morning show with Peter White, and you should, weekday mornings from 7 to 9 a.m. live here on WMNH with a replay from 2 to 4 right before this show. Peter will actually kill the Facebook live feed before he plays the closing music, just so he doesn't have any issue. At least I assume that's why he does it, just so he doesn't have any issue with a copyright claim popping up. And I actually used to do that, or what I used to do for a long time is I would mute the Facebook feed while I played a song just to avoid running into that. But then I stopped when it seemed like we were past that issue because, like I said, we just kept appealing the copyright claims. Let's see. Hello to Frank Botetto. Frank was the drummer, speaking of bands, he was the drummer in a band I used to play in called The Jinxed. Hello, Frank. Bill Stephanitis is in the Facebook live chat. Hi, Bill. Bill and I used to work together many years ago. Let's see. Hello to Pete Trouble Morse. Hello, sir. Okay, so, like I said, if you, what were we I was about to get into something. We have actually some breaking news, so we'll go ahead and hit that. But 603-250-6007 is the number to call if you would like to interact today. 603-250-6007. And like I said before, too, I don't know if well, no, I'll mention that again later. We'll come back to that. But let's get into this because we have some breaking news from Politico. Department of Justice accuses Assange of violating the Espionage Act. Of course, Julian Assange recently taken out of the Ecuadorian embassy. Unplugged, Thomas G. Spencer says. I'm not sure what he's referring to. I assume something to do with Skumpi. No, Skumpi's not unplugged. He just ended the call. A little joke there. Okay. The Justice Department has hit WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange with Espionage Act charges, significantly escalating a legal fight against the high-profile activist. DOJ had previously only indicted Assange on a single count of conspiracy to commit computer intrusion. Thursday's revelation of an additional 18 charges filed in the Eastern District of Virginia means Assange could face significantly more prison time if found guilty. The alleged Espionage Act violations relate to Assange's complicity with Chelsea Manning. She just got out of prison, but then she had to go right back in. Chelsea Manning, a former U.S. Army soldier who was convicted in July 2013 of violating the Espionage Act after it says here he, because at that time Chelsea was still Bradley, after he shuttled troves of classified government information to WikiLeaks. Traditionally, the Espionage Act has been used against government officials like Manning who reveal such classified information rather than foreign nationals and journalists who publish the information. Assange's legal case took off in April after Ecuador revoked its 7-year asylum, forcing him out of the embassy in London and paving the way for his extradition to the United States for one of the biggest ever leaks of classified information. Justice Department officials said they could not comment on how this might affect Assange's extradition from the UK to the U.S. Among the charges are 3 counts that Assange violated the Espionage Act, which prohibits the disclosure of national defense information. The Justice Department alleged that Assange published select State Department cables that contained the unredacted names of human sources in Iran, China, and Syria. He also published Afghan activity reports and Iraq activity reports that endangered local Afghans and Iraqis, prosecutors alleged. A Justice Department official told reporters today, quote, "It was explicitly stated in the Justice Department cables that the identity of sources was to be protected. Assange was warned by the State Department not to release the names, but he did so nevertheless," unquote. Zach Terwilliger, that's a fun name, Terwilliger, the assistant U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia, emphasized that the government was, quote, "not charging Assange for passively obtaining classified information," unquote. Rather, he is being prosecuted for publishing, quote, "a narrow set of classified documents in which Assange also published the names of innocent people who risked their safety to help the United States." Assange is not charged simply because he is a publisher, unquote, according to Terwilliger. John Demers, head of DOJ's National Security Division, argued that Assange is not a journalist, alleging that the WikiLeaks founder, quote, "purposely published names he knew to be confidential human sources in war zones," unquote. John Brown, the FBI Assistant Director for National Security, said the indictment was the result of nearly a decade of work. The original indictment, brought in March 2018 and unsealed in April of this year, charged Assange with conspiring with Manning to hack a government computer to obtain hundreds of thousands of U.S. military reports about U.S. wars in the Middle East. WikiLeaks later published the leaked information. Assange faces up to 10 years in prison on each count. The thing that fascinates me, and, you know, I had a theory about this that I think is proving to be wrong. And, I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong about stuff. I mean, geez, I never thought Trump would be president. I certainly was wrong about that. Hello to John Midas Manning, DJ Midas, host of Late Night Delight every Saturday and Sunday night from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. right here on WMNH. Thomas G. Spencer says Jeff won't be able to be unplugged. Oh, my. He's hardwired right into, well, I don't know what. He'd have to be hardwired into some sort of machine he can carry with him. Perhaps he's part cyborg. I don't know. But the thing that I may have been wrong about was I kind of thought that the U.S. government would want to, well, of course, we live in an era where everything's upside down, where the U.S. government would want to figure out a way to not have to bring him back to the U.S., but maybe let the UK deal with him or something. And the reason I thought that, and I know a lot of you listening probably think this is a crazy theory because, the conventional wisdom among most people I know seems to be that, of course, we want him back so we can prosecute him and punish him and whatnot. But here's my theory. And again, like I said, my theory is, I think is turning out to be wrong. But this was my theory, that the U.S. would try to figure out a way not to get him back. And that there were probably some folks in our government who were perfectly happy to leave him be in Ecuador. But now there's the issue of, well, he's out of there. And here's why I say that. The basis of my theory is this. It's a giant political headache to have to deal with him. Because whether it's Julian Assange, whether it's Chelsea Manning, although we saw, Chelsea Manning was released, although she had to go back in for some reason, or the guy with his name escapes me now, the guy with the glasses we always see, Ed, what the hell's his name? It slips my mind now. The guy who kind of touched all this off. The political problem is, what do you do with someone who you're going to charge and prosecute for espionage, perhaps even treason, but you have someone whom half the country, or at least half of the people, and I say half loosely, I don't know what the percentages would be, and I certainly haven't seen any recent polling data on this. But how do you charge and prosecute and punish someone who half the people who are paying attention to this actually believe is a hero, and the other half believe him to be a villain? Because what I noticed very early on in this, whether it's Manning, whether it's Assange, whether it's, why can't I remember the other guy's name? I can picture him. It's Ed something. Whether it's the other guy. The guy who was hanging out at the airport in Russia for a while because he had nowhere else to go, and Putin was perfectly happy to keep him there. That guy, you know who I mean. What do you do with someone who, half the people who pay attention to it say, no, this person's a hero. This is a whistleblower. This person has exposed war crimes. And by the way, the materials that were released by Assange from Chelsea Manning did expose war crimes. For example, I don't know if y'all have seen the video. Most of you probably have at one point or another of, I think it was in Afghanistan, where we had American military, they see these people. There's video of it. They see these people from, the helicopter. They don't know necessarily who they are or what they're up to, but they make a decision. Well, they kind of look like they could be terrorists, and then they gun them all down. And then some paramedics come running in to help these people, and they gun them down too. And I'm sorry, I support our military and I love my country, but that is a war crime, and that's one of the many reasons why our foreign policy is so horrid. So, what do you do with people whom if you punish them, a lot of people are going to be really angry. And the thing is, too, it's not even, it's one of the most least partisan things I've ever seen in my life. When all this started happening, it really bugs me. I can't remember the other guys. The guy with the glasses. Can't somebody in the Facebook live chat tell me? Y'all know who I mean. Add something. I'm going to look it up. I think you all just think it's funny that I'm having a brain cramp. If it's so just like not partisan because I noticed that when all this began to happen years ago, it was a mix of both Republicans and Democrats who felt that these people were heroes, and it was a mix of both Republicans and Democrats. Edward Snowden, I figured it out. I don't know why I couldn't remember his name. Snowden. Oh, and right after I find it, Midas puts it in the Facebook live chat. Thank you. What do you do? Like, what do you do with someone like Ed Snowden? Like, okay, my theory, I think, is proving not to be correct in terms of Assange, as I see what's happening and what the Department of Justice is doing. But I'm sticking to my theory with Snowden because he was the first one to really do this kind of stuff where I remember, like I said, it was one of the least partisan things I'd ever seen. You had Democrats and Republicans who thought Ed Snowden's a hero, and you had Democrats and Republicans who said, no, Ed Snowden's a traitor. He's guilty of treason. Quite remarkable. And I think it creates an enormous issue. Ed Snowden, even more so than Assange and even more so than Manning, which is why I'm going to maintain my theory about Snowden. What do you do with a guy? I mean, what do you do? What do you bring him back to the U.S. and then try him and convict him and then execute him for treason when you've got half the country who thinks he's a hero? It's such a nightmare that I would think it would be, we're better off not ever getting him back. So my theory has always been, and I said this during the Obama administration many times, I said, look, they can talk all they want to about how, well, Obama was always a little bit careful about it, right? You got, for this very reason. But, certain people would say, oh, yeah, we want to get Snowden. You'd see certain senators like saying, yeah, we need to get him back and try him for treason and hang him. But in reality, I still believe that is the last thing anyone wants is to get Edward Snowden back. Because then you have to deal with that. And again, it's not a partisan issue. It's not a left-right thing. Just everybody has their own ideas about it. I'm going to play this just quickly, though, because it relates to this is a fun little clip that I found online, and it relates to this very topic of Julian Assange.
Hello, I am from the British government with a fabulous announcement. No, I'm sorry, we still haven't sorted out this bleeding show, but we have finally managed to arrest our most wanted criminal. No, the other one, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. Once we're done, we'll extradite his skippy ass off to Virginia to face a grand jury, because we're America's yeah, baby. We'd like to thank all who aided us in this operation, especially the Ecuadorian government.
Hola, I'm from the Ecuadorian government, and I'm here to confirm that our new president is America's too. That is why he agreed to cancel Harry Hacker's political asylum and let pigs enter our embassy to arrest him. ¿Será que nos pueden dar nuestro crédito el FMI ahora, por favor?
Hello, I'm from the Australian government. Since Mr. Assange is our citizen, we feel compelled to state in the strongest possible terms that we're America's too. That's why both of these bung stains will leave him up creek without a paddle. After all, we're the same dickholes who are prosecuting whistleblowers and banning encryption to make it harder for journalists to expose our Hello, I'm from the US government. We're grateful to all our for handing over Julian Assange, who is wanted on charges of making us look like war criminals. Which, of course, we are. We have indicted the accused for the crime of helping his source to anonymously access documents in the public interest, otherwise known as good journalism. Journalists, of course, are not supposed to be good. They're meant to be weak on questioning stenographers who publish what we tolerate. By extraditing a foreign journalist, we hope to send a clear warning to all journalists not to mess with our shit. We ask all of you to cooperate with us in setting this dangerous precedent by focusing on how the accused is a bit of an asshole instead of our attempt to destroy your press freedom. American Empire. Authorized by the United States of America.
There you go. All right. I'd been looking for an excuse to play that again. Anyway, you're listening to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Give us a call, 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007. Let's see. We just got another bit of breaking news. This is from NBC News. Boy, we live in an age of some pretty incredible rhetoric. Nancy Pelosi, who doesn't want to go through with attempting to impeach the president. And I understand why. I mean, it's not going to work. You've got Republicans controlling the Senate. So she's technically correct. However, she's really ratcheting up, since that infrastructure meeting that they had didn't exactly work out. She's kind of ramping up the rhetoric. Oh, hello to Pandora in the Facebook live chat, as well as Christian Cunard. Now she's, it says here, Pelosi tells colleagues Trump is villainous and that he wants to be impeached. The House Speaker's message to Democrats came as vocal support for impeachment rose among lawmakers in the caucus. She may ultimately not have a choice. I mean, if and I was listening to an interview earlier on something on NPR. Somebody was pointing out that whether impeachment fails or succeeds, at least if you begin the process and you're investigating Trump, it gives you access to documents. Like you can subpoena documents that you might not be able to get and so forth, although we see how well that's gone. I mean, they've done the administration and the DOJ and everybody. I mean, they've done a pretty spectacular job of stonewalling that. But that wall will ultimately crumble, right? I mean, it has to. They can't stonewall forever, I wouldn't think. So it says here, and again, this is from NBC News, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told her Democratic colleagues today that President Donald Trump wants to be impeached so that he can be vindicated in the Senate. Now, that's interesting. So I think she's right, because what will happen is, and it's interesting that she used the word villainous, because in a certain sense, Trump is like a supervillain, right? It's like the more negativity you shove at him and the more you try to hit him with and the more energy you expend trying to bring him down, he only gets stronger. And he is strong. I mean, look, there's people who, since the beginning of the Trump presidency, every time there's a gaffe, every time he does this, every time he does that, there's always somebody saying, oh, this is, they do it all the time on the Young Turks. If you ever watch the Young Turks, I don't know how many videos I've seen Cenk Uygur put up since the beginning of the Trump presidency with titles like Trump presidency is over and this and that. And it's like, no, he only gets stronger. And he is. I mean, his approval rating among Republicans is like 90%, So, nothing. I mean, I always say he enjoys a sort of loyalty and reverence that Ronald Reagan, Saint Reagan, the patron saint of conservatism, would be envious of. It's just amazing. And even if something does go wrong, or if like these farmers in the Midwest who are, there's a few here and there who go on cable news and talk about how upset they are because these tariffs, Trump's trade war is destroying their businesses. Their livelihoods are being wrecked by this trade war. But honestly, it's not going to matter. All Trump has to do is go to Iowa. He knows this. Go to Iowa, do a big rally, talk about crooked Hillary, lead the crowd in a chant of lock her up, and then say something about sleepy Joe Biden or whatever, and maybe get in a little dig on immigrants, and he's good. Everyone will love him there again. Who may have had a moment of questioning him. I mean, it's incredible. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I mean, in an odd way, Trump may be the most successful politician in the history of the country. I mean, just the way the guy talks. I mean, he makes Sarah Palin sound like a well-spoken, articulate Rhodes Scholar. It's like George Will said. George Will, the conservative columnist and never Trumper. He said in one of his columns that, let me see if I can get this right. Trump speaks English like Trump speaks English like he learned it 2 weeks ago from someone who learned it 2 weeks ago. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Republicans are just deeply in love with him. Nothing matters. It's amazing. So, House Speaker Pelosi, so she said that he wants to be impeached so he can be vindicated in the Senate. And that's exactly what will happen. That's why she's right. There's all this momentum, all this push within the Democratic Party to move to impeach. But you've got a Republican-controlled Senate. It's just the politics of it. They're not going to convict him. They're not going to, and he'll be vindicated. And, he'll be on his way to 2020. I mean, she knows. She knows this. She didn't get to where she is by being dumb. She's got this figured out. Pelosi made the comments at a closed-door morning meeting. Two Democratic aides told NBC News, who also said that Pelosi called Trump's actions villainous. The aide said that Pelosi was implying that she will stick to her current plan to keep investigating the president and his administration without jumping to impeachment, though she didn't explicitly address strategy in her remarks. Pelosi told reporters at her weekly press conference today following the closed-door meeting, quote, "Let me be very clear. The president's behavior, as far as his obstruction of justice, the things that he is doing, it's in plain sight. It cannot be denied. Ignoring subpoenas, obstruction of justice," unquote. But she continued to stress a focus on the process. Quote, "I do think that impeachment is a very divisive place to go in our country. Get the facts to the American people in our investigation. It may take us to a place that is unavoidable in terms of impeachment, but we're not at that place," unquote. Let's see. We have a call. We will grab this. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Matt, you're cracking walnuts with your hindquarters again.
Oh, if only I could.
Well, I thought Yetis could do that.
How dare you, sir? That's a terrible stereotype and an offensive one. You have
What's
once
that
again.
cracking noise that comes?
You've.
What's that cracking noise that emanates from your Mickey Mouse britches, man?
What is that? I never mind that. You're burying the lead. I want to know why you just said "uh-oh." You can't just say "uh-oh" and not tell us why. Have you been jaywalking?
I've got a hot date tonight, and she's a chatterbox. Siri, shut up.
What?
I'm actually going up to Concord to have dinner with the Honorable Joel Elber and his beautiful, significant other, Shirley.
Oh!
Not Siri, but Shirley.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
So I'm being reminded how to get out of Manchester, even though I know how to do it. Because I put Joel's address in.
Well, maybe you can. I'd love to have the Honorable Joel the Moose Elber on my show sometime.
Uh-oh. Can you hear that dinging?
No. What's dinging? Have you set off an alarm?
Oh, never mind that.
What is going on?
Hey, I think Nancy Pelosi is full of, the old bully, bull, expletive deleted.
Oh, my goodness. Well, thank you for censoring yourself. Not all of our callers do that.
Why did Yussel call, or whatever his name is?
No.
I don't Joshua, whatever
I don't know.
Amoeba's name is.
We don't know his actual name. He won't reveal it. He's very mysterious. He uses these fake Facebook profiles and stuff.
Well, they need to impeach Trump because that gives them the powers of investigation.
Well, that's what someone was arguing this morning in the interview that I was listening to. But you don't think Nancy? You don't agree with Nancy Pelosi's theory that what'll happen is he'll just be vindicated in the Senate by the Republican-controlled Senate, and the whole thing's just going to backfire anyway.
They impeached Bill Clinton knowing they weren't going to convict him.
Right,
and they impeached Chief Justice David Brock was impeached, knowing New Hampshire was impeached. I'm going to be doing some shows on that. Because, I'm interested in that, the process of the law. Knowing fully well they wouldn't be able to get an impeachment. And, the guy who was the prosecutor wrote a piece for the Concord Monitor. This was, almost 20 years ago, saying that it was a worthwhile process in itself, even knowing that it was unlikely that they could get a conviction. Because it's like Phil Griazzo said one time, and I don't mean to bring up municipal politics, but the actual, let's say there's a municipal type of process that's similar to impeachment. The impeachment process, you don't go into that process fully knowing everything and getting a conviction. It is a trial, and that's where you will gather more evidence.
Right. No, I understand.
Evidence is presented.
I understand what you're saying, but I think
it's kind of like a grand jury.
Oh no, I get it. No, I get it. I understand, and I understand the point that you're making. The only thing is, though, I think from Nancy Pelosi's point of view, I think she probably figures it doesn't matter what evidence they find. He's still going to be vindicated in the Senate.
How you don't know that. You're saying that she's saying this. I used to know all those Latin terms. There used to be a legal editor. Like saying this status is going to be the same status after the impeachment. If they reveal real crimes that he's covering up right now and defying, just that he's defying the House, that's an impeachable offense and one worthy of conviction if you can get the votes. I mean, it takes 2/3 of votes.
Mm-hmm.
But, they were never going to get that with Bill Clinton. And the point is, you could uncover in the impeachment process some really, really bad stuff. I mean, look at Mitch McConnell and all the stuff that's coming out about him. Have you been hearing about the lobbyists for Russia?
Yeah.
Who put, Russia, the oligarchs putting a plant in Kentucky, and Mitch got the lobbyist's wife a federal judgeship, even though she was an embarrassment. Not that ever meant anything during this crazy Trump administration.
Right.
There is a point where it's gone beyond. I don't think there's ever been a crisis like this in the entire history of the United States.
Yeah.
Where a president is openly acting beyond the law.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He knows he can. I mean, if you look at his approval.
He doesn't know he can.
Oh,
you don't know he can. You don't know unless you friggin' try him.
He's the Teflon Don. It wasn't
of impeachment, which that's what it is. You're not going to know.
It wasn't.
The House has power. The House can arrest people.
Sure.
Put them in jail.
Yeah.
They got a jail right there in Congress. That's why the people aren't going to show up. I mean, then there's the thorny question. I was talking to my friend who's remember Dave Colapinto?
Of course.
The Justice Department has to take the prisoner over and prosecute them.
Right.
But Nancy's wrong. That they got to impeach the son of a bitch. I mean, it's the time frame, right? If she's arguing for time frame, what I've heard, because I don't really like to follow politics now, I'm doing gardening, and now there's a huge woodchuck at my sister's house.
Oh no!
A young stud, by the way.
Oh my!
Oh, wow. It's never ending. I captured the chipmunk and let him go. I don't know how I'm going to get that woodchuck. Let's not get into that. always these antagonists, Matt. You know, nature is such a metaphor for life itself, is it not? We are all natural beings. That's what I'm calling my show now. All natural beings.
All natural being with John Hopwood. Maybe you and Brian Brody should team
not
up.
all natural being with Dr. Body.
Well, he's not a doctor, but
We make him a doctor of the Taxi Church of.
where are you and the Honorable Moose and his lovely bride? Or they're not actually married, right? They're living in sin. Is that correct? Where are you going to eat?
Well, we're going to have at his house.
Oh, at his home.
A homesteader, a proud homeowner and taxpayer.
Wow.
In Concord, New Hampshire.
In Concord. All right. Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah. I'm going through the Easy Pass. Stop ahead, pay toll. I don't have to stop. I have privileges.
Wow.
I'm a white man.
Look at
I
you.
can just sail through things.
You're using your white privilege at that toll booth. I congratulate you, sir. Very nice.
Hey, baby, if you got it, flaunt it.
That's right. Yes.
Little do I know.
I'm going to be on
that
the weekly. I'm going to be on the weekly Dion later.
Why is Darryl there?
No, he's not here yet. Why? No, Ben invited me on.
Raise some more hell.
Who Darryl? He is a hellraiser. Yes, he needs to act his age.
You guys set up Skumpi. You and the cupiditous Easy G.
It was all Easy G's fault, and I don't know what word you just said. What was that word? I like learning new words.
Cupiditous.
Cupiditous?
Yeah, I'm making it up off the word cupidity. You know, Easy G, when he was young, like the great Glenn R.J. Ouellette, was quite the lover. But, now they have some maladies. So instead of playing Cupid, they engage in cupiditousness. Although I don't really think you can say that about Glenn R.J. Ouellette. But, the more people say about it, the less chance I think there is for a lawsuit.
So Easy G, you're claiming that Easy G Eric Gagnon used to be known for being quite the lover, is what you're saying.
Well, he was married.
That's true. Yes.
Now, see, if I say that Glenn is cute.
Well, we don't. Yeah,
Glenn is very above board.
We don't. We don't. Yeah, we don't do that.
Or anything about him.
Right.
I can say that. Hey, look at Glenn. I said it about him. I wasn't saying anything naughty about you.
Right. Yes, of course. But I had no idea that. Easy G is divorced, and his wife did get a restraining order against him at one point. He
did. Why? Because his sup hose broke.
I don't know. He couldn't have been that great a lover. She apparently had some sort of issue with him.
He's probably young, full of testosterone, got a little frisky,
Mm-hmm.
Not that I approve of such behavior.
No. No.
But sometimes he's of a different generation. How old do you think Easy G is? About 65 or 70?
I believe he just celebrated his 74th birthday not long ago.
I thought he was a sexagenarian.
A sexy,
did you hear that?
A sexagenarian? I did hear that. Well, you said he's a great lover.
Hey, where is virtual Easy G?
Oh, he's in the corner weeping. There, he's right there.
Oh, I didn't mean to hurt his feelings.
I think he's trying to get a job at Goldenrod.
Goldenrod? You mean he's not at the Clam King anymore?
Creamland? I think his days there are numbered. Apparently, he was there the other day, and he mentioned Goldenrod while he was at Creamland. And his boss, Nicole, was not pleased and said, "Hey, you want to keep your job?" So that was strike one for Easy G. I think he's on his way out.
Where did you take Jenny? Did you take her to Creamland or Dairy Queen?
Oh, we went to Dairy Queen. She got an ice cream, and I got a hamburger.
Oh, did you mention Bill Berry when you were there?
Never occurred to me. Why would I? Why?
Well, you're so foolish. You could get the Bill Berry discount.
I didn't know there was a Bill Berry discount. My goodness, and I'm a cheap SOB. I wish I had known this sooner. Oh, Lord.
she would have got free Jimmy's on her ice cream.
Oh, we had to pay for the Jimmys. Well, this is very upsetting. I kind of wish you hadn't told me. Although I guess I'm glad because now we know for the future. But still, this is terrible.
Speaking of upsetting, I heard a person my age use the word sprinkles, speaking to a younger person rather than Jimmy.
Yeah, I've heard both over the course of my life. I think they're pretty interchangeable in this part of the country.
You know, I've never heard a Manchesterite use the word sprinkles.
Really?
But, you know, no, people don't use the word tonic anymore talking about soda pop.
No.
That's disappointing.
I think my great-grandmother...
You never hear anybody...
You used to call it that.
I'm sorry, I'm raving now.
You're raving. You're stark raving.
Well, you know, I think there's a little lag on the cell phone, but I'm you know, a chatterbox as it is.
Yeah,
but
tend to be. Yeah.
You never hear anybody use the word cunning anymore.
Use the word what?
Cunning.
Cunning?
Well, let's say we were talking about a flower pot made, and you know, former one. You'd say he was cunning, as in a cunning runt. But
right.
They used to use the word cunning, but they dropped the G, cunning. For a cunning baby. That was a northern New Englandism for cute. And it was attached to children and animals, usually, you know, small animals. You never hear anybody talk about anybody being cunning anymore.
I think it's because, well, if you're on the air, you know, you don't tend to say it because you have to be very careful saying it. So it's just easier to avoid that word.
You mean you think it's a C word?
Yeah, it's some words that start with C just aren't suitable for the air.
All right. You know, I guess we just got to keep it to, like, cunning run.
Yes, I guess so.
He was a cunning run, too.
So I've heard.
But we're not supposed to talk about cunning runs.
Right. That's
WMNH. Hey, I got to go. I'm hitting traffic up in our great capital city, Concord.
All right. Well, please say hello to the Honorable Moose, Joel Elber, and see if you can get him.
Get him to call in.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Better yet, see if he'll come on the show sometime.
He lives in Concord.
Yeah. It's not like he's in another country. He's in Concord. What, he can't come down?
Hey, I'll talk to you later, but I might be able to get Mike Farrell on your show.
Oh, Mike Farrell. Yes, he works with the Innocence Project now.
I made a faux pas because I got something, wasn't his character named DJ something, like DJ Honeycutt?
BJ Honeycutt, yes, on MASH.
Yeah, well, you know, I got a, you know, an email, like, you know, I guess one of the things he likes to do is, as a joke, is you email you as his in character. Well, I thought it was just one of those, you know, unsolicited emails you get from naughty women.
Oh.
And I deleted it.
Oh, no. Wah.
What can you do, Matt?
Right. All right, John.
I'm a victim of political correctness.
I guess so, yes. All right.
I feel like F-bombing now, so I am going to get off the radio.
All right. Sounds good. Be safe and say hello to Joel. All right.
Honorable Joel to you, Yeti.
That's right, yes. All right, very good.
I'm in traffic now, so I'm getting bitchy. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, that was John Hopwood. Of course, not to be confused with virtual John Hopwood.
Just hang up.
I already did. We ended the call. All right, we will take a quick break, and then we'll come back. And that is the strangest thing that he happened to mention Mike Farrell of MASH. Let me just say this, and then we'll take a quick break. Because it was earlier today. Well, of course, you know, the House, the New Hampshire House just voted to override Governor Sununu's veto for getting rid of the death penalty here in New Hampshire. And earlier today, that's right, it was this morning, I was thinking about how I was, and we were talking about MASH recently because Paul Cormier was here on the show with me. And Paul's a big MASH fan, and I was a big fan of MASH growing up. And I was face-to-face a couple of years ago with Mike Farrell from MASH and didn't realize it was him. And, oh, if I could have that moment back, I would have loved to have said hello to him for a couple of reasons. Number one, I was a big fan of MASH growing up. And number two, I love the work that he does now with the Innocence Project, which, talks about why we should abolish the death penalty. And, they show you all these cases where, we had someone on death row or someone had been convicted of murder who would potentially be executed. And then we find out later, oops, turns out they didn't actually do it. Close call there, or in some cases, we find out after they've been executed, etc. If you're a longtime listener, I'm opposed to the death penalty. But a few years ago, I was in Nashua. I was going into the to a local television station there to appear on a show called The Art of Politics with Ken Gidge, state rep Ken Gidge from Nashua, who hosts that show with, he used to do it. I don't know if they still do it together. He used to do it with Al Baldessero. I don't know if they still do the show together or not, but Al wasn't there that day. So Ken invited me to go on. As I'm walking into the television station, Mike Farrell is walking out, but I didn't realize it was him. I remember looking directly at him and thinking, oh, he looks really familiar. Do I know him? But I didn't see. You ever have that thing happen where you think you know someone, but when they're looking back at you, you don't see any recognition in their face that they recognize you. So then you go, oh, no, I must not know him. He looks familiar for some reason. It was that kind of thing, because why would he know me, right? So I'm looking at him thinking, he looks familiar. Do I know him? And he kind of glances back at me, but, he just keeps walking and I keep walking. And then I get into the station, and the guy who runs the place says to me, hey, did you see Mike Farrell from MASH? And I was like, what? And apparently he had been there because Kevin Avard, who was hosting a show there, and maybe he still does it, I don't know, but Kevin Avard had Mike Farrell on as a guest talking about the Innocence Project, and they had finished taping that show, because they don't do any live shows there. They're all taped. Kevin Avard had already left, but Mike Farrell stuck around a bit for whatever reason. So I'm walking in as Mike Farrell's walking out. I looked right at him and didn't quite connect that it was him, because obviously he doesn't look like he did on MASH. He's much older now, decades older, right? But he looked familiar to me, but it didn't quite click in my head. And if I could have that moment back, because I would love to meet him, because like I said, I was a big fan of MASH growing up, and I love what he does now and the work that he does, the activism that he does. I think it's fantastic. But we'll talk a little bit about that when we come back, what happened today in the New Hampshire House. But we'll take a quick break because we're way past the top of the hour. Just a quick reminder, if you're just joining us too, I'll be on at 6 p.m. on the weekly Dion. Ben Dion contacted me earlier and asked me to be a guest tonight on the show. So really looking forward to that. I've been on there once before and had a great time, but I look forward to that again. And I don't have to leave. I can just move over to the couch for that. So look forward to that. So that's coming up at 6 p.m. But here's a little... This is called Alex Jones DMT Electro House Remix. I love me some Alex Jones parodies and satires and such. So this is fun. Give this a listen. We'll be right back.
You're going to live in a tank and be tied into this virtual world. You'll be able to wire your head in and just get unlimited pleasure. You'll feel like 10 times the best orgasm for 3 days if you want straight. They're taking the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. There's the owners of True Frequency Radio. They believe they're communicating with entities. They call them clockwork elves. I'm not going to get into what they're interfacing with. They believe they're in contact with off-world groups. Chris Gio, True Frequency Radio, he takes it. You see the elves, little green hats. We're in trouble, ladies and gentlemen.
we're in trouble. The Clockwork Elves, all of it, I shouldn't even get into it. There's a reason they're all whacked out of their minds. They're taking DMT. And the point is that their whole science is way ahead. We don't even know what they've got. They're in power because they're taking the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. Chris Gio took the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. Chris Gio took the DMT. You think they're all a bunch of old men? They're in power because they were into this stuff 70 years ago. The DMT. They were jacking DMT 70 years ago. They were injecting it. They're taking the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. Chris Gio took the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. True Frequency Radio took the DMT. I shouldn't even get into it.
77-year-old billionaire Robert Kraft is accused.
We've all heard that New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft was caught in a sex trafficking sting.
Women at the spas were lured into the sex trade.
They were women who were from China, who were forced into sex slavery.
We're told it happens all the time.
Thousands of children are raped every day.
Sex trafficking, a growing problem.
But that's not true, says reporter Elizabeth Nolan Brown. In Robert Kraft's case,
they had all of these big announcements at first saying that they had busted up an international sex trafficking ring, and these women were being forced there and they weren't allowed to leave.
This is not about lonely old men or victimless crimes. This is about enabling a network of criminals to traffic women into our country for forced labor and sex.
But now prosecutors concede there was no sex trafficking, and that's typical.
I'd say 99% of the headlines are not true. Sex trafficking and prostitution are just sort of used interchangeably.
We're here to rescue people that need to be rescued.
Police routinely claim they rescue women.
They say we rescued these women, and by rescue, they put them in jail and give them a criminal record. The victims are the sex workers themselves who are getting harassed and, locked up in cages by the cops.
Agents arresting at least 14 suspects.
Being arrested doesn't help you.
These women chose to be sex workers.
I wasn't coerced. It was something that I actively wanted to do.
But the cops call it sex trafficking. You were trafficked.
Yeah, they call a lot of things trafficking, the drug trafficking, the immigration trafficking.
Celebrities perpetuate the myth.
Today, you can go online and buy a child for sex. It's as easy as ordering a pizza.
Human trafficking is the fastest growing illegal business in the world.
If that was the case, cops would be able to find this all the time. Cops wouldn't be having to go to doing these elaborate stings.
Florida police spent months taking down the Robert Kraft spa.
They had Homeland Security involved. They were following these women around to grocery stores, watching them buy condoms. They were going through their trash and analyzing their trash. If this was really a situation where these women were being forced and sexually assaulted multiple times a day, the cops just let it happen for months on end?
The women were trafficked.
In case after case, police call the women sex slaves.
These women are true victims.
I actually talked to one of the sheriffs who was interviewed there, the first one, John Urquhart, and he ended up saying, well, maybe they weren't being forced by whatever, but we're all trafficked by something, and there was money involved. And then by the end of the investigation, they were like, they were pressured because they didn't know a lot of people and they wanted to make money.
The implication is, with the number of men and the number of hours, that this couldn't have been voluntary.
I read through all of the court documents involved in this, and it actually paints a very, very different story.
The documents, as usual, made reference to prostitution. The women apparently were willing.
We wanted to rescue them out of that horrible life.
They're on a moral crusade. They're doing the right thing.
But all they did was actually go in there, bust up their place of business, close it down, and then let the women go.
The cops are not cruel. They, I assume, want to do the right thing. Why would they say this stuff?
Cops like working these kind of cases, I think.
They bring the police good publicity.
A major sex trafficking ring busted.
And also,
you have a lot of federal money coming at this. These human trafficking task forces where the federal government funds these local cops to do these stings, and if they call them human trafficking stings, they get this money.
So much of the anti-prostitution laws that are being pushed is a combination of the conservative fetish
for going after people for doing sex stuff, and the liberal instinct to help a group of people that they can't be bothered to understand.
Trafficking is a real problem in every state in the United States of America. Right now, almost 300,000 American children are at risk.
300,000 children.
300,000.
Not just at risk, says this former prosecutor.
300,000 kids a year are raped, sex trafficked, and pimped in this country.
That 300,000 number was disavowed.
The lead author of the study, Richard Estes, now disavows it. The National Crimes Against Children Center says do not cite this study. And we've had so many people debunk the study and say this is just a total bullcrap number.
I'd like to tell you a story about a 15-year-old girl.
Actor Ashton Kutcher even promotes an app which he claims rescues sex trafficking victims.
We've identified and recovered over 6,000 trafficking victims this year.
Ashton Kutcher has this app which he claims recovers victims. 300,000 children are at risk.
Where is he getting these numbers?
If Ashton Kutcher is finding all those victims, he's not turning them over to police.
Kutcher's representatives did not respond to our repeated emails.
When we have these exaggerated numbers, it forces people to go into this crazy emergency moral panic mode that ends up not helping the actual problem that we have.
If it was your daughter there, you would not be saying it's a victimless crime.
They want to just eradicate all prostitution.
We will not stop until we have stamped out the menace of human trafficking.
They want this imaginary world where if you take away, a safer option for these women, then everyone will just, the oldest profession, as they call it, will magically stop. But that's not going to happen.
They're treating the women like a piece of furniture.
The way we try to stop that from happening is actually making the problem worse.
Why are there so many words that are blacked out? And what's on the other side? Words that are really there, but yet are redacted, means someone has something to hide. So we've been told by Fox News to believe it. He thinks he's over the hump, but one day we'll see it. The rainbow redactions, the Mueller, the schemers, and Trump. All of this doesn't dispel the Mueller, the schemers, and Trump.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Well, we are well in hour number 2 of Matt Connarton Unleashed. We are live on WMNH 95.3 FM in downtown Manchester, New Hampshire, streaming at WMNHradio.org. We're also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester, and of course we're on Facebook via Facebook Live on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. Hello to Wayne Noel in the Facebook live chat who joined us there during our break. Coming up at 6 p.m., I will be a guest on the weekly Dion right here on WMNH. Really looking forward to that. And it's been a while since I've been on there, so that'll be great. In the meantime, you can give us a call at 603-250-6007, 603-250-6007, or you can interact in the Facebook live chat as well. Mediaites reporting, boy, I'll tell you, there's been a little bit of, look, I think we all knew, right, that when Rex Tillerson found himself, where was he? Was he somewhere in Africa or South America or somewhere? I forget where he was exactly. When John Kelly, who at that time was Trump's chief of staff, told him something like watch for a tweet, or somebody in the administration told him watch for a tweet, kind of giving him a heads up that he was fired. There's been some conjecture that it was not necessarily a, shall we say, a friendly parting of the ways on either side. Well, today, Again, this comes from Mediaite. Trump opens fire on ex-Secretary of State Tillerson, saying that he made up a story that Trump was out-prepared by Putin. It says here, Donald Trump blasted Rex Tillerson today after his former Secretary of State said the president was not sufficiently prepared for a meeting he had with Vladimir Putin back in 2017. Here's what Trump said on Twitter about Tillerson. Rex Tillerson, a man who is dumb as a rock, jeez, and totally ill-prepared and ill-equipped to be Secretary of State, made up a story that I was out-prepared by Vladimir Putin at a meeting in Hamburg, Germany. I don't think Putin would agree. Look how the U.S. is doing. It seems like a bit of a non sequitur. But you only have 240 characters, right? Is it 240? Is that what it is now? Tillerson spoke to the House Foreign Affairs Committee this week, and sources from the closed-door meeting told the Washington Post that Tillerson recalled a G20 summit in Hamburg where the administration apparently did not expect a series of initial meetings to expand into a broader event. The result was that Tillerson got the impression that the Russian president was more prepared for the meeting than his American counterpart. Oh, I find that terribly hard to believe. A committee aide said, quote, "We spent a lot of time in the conversation talking about how Putin seized every opportunity to push what he wanted. There was a discrepancy in preparation, and it created an unequal footing," unquote. Oh, boy. Well, so Trump is saying some pretty mean things. I'm skeptical that Rex Tillerson is, in fact, dumb as a rock. I don't think you get to run ExxonMobil by being a fool. That's just my theory. Also, another quick story here from Reason. A 69-year-old great-grandmother was arrested at Disney World for carrying CBD oil. Oh, my goodness. Disney World, where Kitty Coasters, this is from Reason, by the way. I'm not sure if I said that. Disney World, where Kitty Coasters, cartoon royalty, and overpriced food options abound, is colloquially known as the happiest place on earth. Hester, that's not a name I've seen. Well, she is a great-grandmother. Hester Burkhalter would likely disagree. The 69-year-old great-grandmother was arrested outside of Magic Mountain and spent 12 hours in jail last month after security officials found CBD, short for, I can never say it, cannabis. I give up. CBD oil in her purse. The compound is derived from cannabis, but does not contain the psychoactive component THC found in marijuana. In other words, it can't get you high, but it supposedly can alleviate a plethora of medical conditions, including joint pain and anxiety. Burkhalter tells Orlando's local Fox affiliate, quote, "I have really bad arthritis in my legs, in my arms, and in my shoulder. I use CBD oil for the pain because it helps," unquote. She reportedly had a doctor's note in her purse when security officials flagged her, but law enforcement detained her anyway. While the charges have been dropped, Burkhalter's attorney, Ben Crump, said he plans to sue Disney, I hope he does, and the Orange County Sheriff's Office on her behalf, alleging illegal detention, false arrest, and a violation of her civil rights. Her misfortune sheds light on the murky legal territory surrounding CBD use, as regulations often conflict, and as people increasingly flout local restrictions on the harmless substance. The Farm Bill, signed by Trump in 2018, which I gave him credit for, legalized hemp and CBD at the federal level. In Florida, it remains illegal without a prescription, although CBD-infused cocktails and shops selling the compound continue to pop up across the Sunshine State. But we got to do something about grandma, apparently. Crump, who also represented Trayvon Martin's family, said at a press conference, quote, "Today in Orlando, we were able to go into the store and buy CBD. It's all over Orlando. It's all over Florida," unquote. CBD use remains a point of contention even in places that have legalized cannabis. In California, where cannabis use is permitted both medically and recreationally, public health officials seized $140,000 worth of CBD-infused drinks. from Vibes Beverages. That's the name of the company. That same cognitive dissonance rather, is alive and well in Florida. Jennifer Cinnamon says, quote, a little drop of oil with the CBD is a felony. Meanwhile, you can have up to 19.9 grams of leaf marijuana, and it's a first-degree misdemeanor, unquote. So there you go. So that is from Reason.com. And we are joined in the studio by the Dions. That's Ben Dion on the couch over there. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
Very well. And Darryl Dion at the news desk.
Hi, Matt.
Hello. How are you? What are you?
Excellent. How are you doing?
What are you all giggly about over there? You're all
he always is.
You're all giggly about something.
You know, I spend a couple hours in the morning with Peter, and I spend the rest of the day giggling.
Is that what it is? Yes. Well,
we have so much fun.
I know. So, what was the vibe like in here?
It was interesting.
The other morning, yeah.
Actually, it was. Considering the subject matter, it was reasonably calm.
Yes.
And everybody was well behaved.
Yes.
Peter just wanted to point out a couple of facts.
Uh-huh.
And it was interesting as the discussion went on. And Jeff Skumpi was clear to admit that he may have had a couple of cold ones, which is fine.
I noticed
no
he never denied it. That's for certain. Yeah.
But the amount of consumption increased exponentially.
Yes.
So it went from a couple to he gave it up at the end. I don't think I've ever had it, but they had 20-ounce cans of 8% alcohol beers.
Okay,
3 of those bad boys will do you in.
Yeah,
it would have done me in for sure.
Oh, geez.
But it went well and cleared the air.
Yes,
it was quite amusing.
Yes. Well, it was all EZG Eric Agnon's fault. I mean,
absolutely,
if he hadn't been egging on Skumpi and instigating everything the way that he was, then none of this would have happened.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It was great.
Yes.
And today, it was a great show today. Rob was on, Rob Esposito. He was amazing.
Yes. I would like to have him on myself. The only issue I have is I never learned to read.
Stop it.
So
just stop it.
No, I fake it really well. A lot of illiterate people, they just fake it.
No.
There's probably people in Ben's school who don't know how to read, and he has no idea.
No idea.
See?
It's highly likely.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the book signing tomorrow. I'm excited about that.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. Is he, so he's doing one here at the Bookery, right?
Yeah, 6:30.
Is he doing any others, do you know? Is he going around the state?
He may be. But I know he described pretty much how it was going to come down tomorrow night, is that he will do a couple of passages of the book, and there'll be music after each passage.
Okay.
I think he's got 4 people coming on, as far as I know.
Yes.
And they'll be. I think the musical presentation will relate to the context of what he reads.
Oh, okay.
In some way.
Very nice.
This should be cool. Cool. I'm looking forward to it.
No, that's great. Have you ever written a book?
No.
He's thought about it.
Really? Yeah.
I actually have given it some thought, and I may at some point in time.
What would you write about?
Well, I've had a long and interesting life.
Oh.
So it would be autobiographical, but I wouldn't put my name on it. It'd be ghostwritten.
Sounds
because
like
you're so famous over there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not famous at all, but I've had a lot of life-changing experiences over my lifetime. So, and I think it might be interesting reading, but I got to wait another 10 years.
Why? What happens in 10 years?
See what shakes out over the next 10.
You're just going to get older.
This is true.
Right.
This is true.
Yeah.
He goes from 70 to 80.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
that wasn't nice.
I'm just saying.
There'll be more life experiences over the next 10 years.
That's true.
So you don't want to. I'm just compiling facts.
Right. Okay.
Oh boy.
Well, very good. Very good. What would it be called? Darryl's
Dining with Darryl.
Dining with Darryl.
It would have nothing to do with my name.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, right, because it's going to be
ghostwritten.
Ghostwritten.
What would you change your name to?
I wouldn't change my name.
You would just.
I wouldn't have to change my name. It would be somebody else doing it. A ghostwriter.
I am so confused as to why.
Get in line with the confusion. Just get in line.
You're not famous.
I don't think you have to write a book. You have to be famous to write a book.
No. The ghostwriter thing. I don't understand that at all.
You will in time.
I'm not going to read the book.
Oh, my goodness.
I refuse to read the book.
Wow.
Well, Ben, I got news for you. There's no book.
There's not going to be in a second.
Well, let me.
And I didn't see you at Skumpi's show either. So you didn't go to Skumpi's show, and you won't read your dad's book.
Nope. I'm
kind
boycotting all
You're
of
like,
that.
I'm going to start calling you Peter White. Jeez.
Oh, that was so funny.
I don't think Peter White would read his book either.
Probably not.
Probably
No,
not.
Not at all.
He read Rob Azevito's book.
Yes, he did.
Apparently, he read it all the day before.
Yeah.
Which actually is the smart way to do it. I mean, unless it's like a big book. But,
Right. Yeah, it's thin enough to tear through in one day.
Yeah, because then it's fresh in your mind.
Yeah.
That's actually what I would have done. What I will do if obviously I'll see Rob tomorrow when he comes in to do his show, and I'll ask him. I'll invite him on this program, unless he's concerned about Easy G stirring something up. Or
I
something.
doubt it.
That guy.
That's why he's not on my show.
Oh, was he supposed to? Yeah, wasn't he supposed to be on tonight?
No.
Or was he already on?
No.
No, he doesn't get to come on yet because he can't handle himself.
No, I mean Rob.
Oh, no.
Or Rob was already on.
Rob was on.
Rob was on.
Oh, okay.
A couple months ago. About 2 months ago, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Oh, all right.
I meant Easy G.
Easy G's not allowed to come on.
He is not allowed to come on as of yet. I don't think he can handle it.
Are you freaked out by his giant head?
No.
Because he does have, and I can say that. That's not mean. I can say that because I have a giant head.
I think it's more of
he's got like a big Barry Bonds steroid head, though.
He really does, yeah.
Yes.
You're right.
Yes.
But I think to me it's the, I don't know, every time he calls in or something, he causes some drama.
Yes, he does.
He likes to stir the pot.
Yeah, he does.
He likes to stir the pot.
I don't need that. I don't need the negative publicity over there. So
Right.
He's going to call in. I would bet $1 million that he calls in either right now or during my show.
He probably will.
I will.
He probably will.
I'll bet it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you had him on, next thing you know, he'd be trying to cause trouble between you and Skumpi or something.
Perhaps.
Yes.
Yeah.
It'd be terrible.
And it's so funny. He wants us all to go to Creamland. So this morning, Peter on air said, we all went over to Goldenrod's and had a hell of a time.
Yeah. Well, I said that yesterday on my show. I said,
beautiful.
I just got a text from Peter White. They're all enjoying a delicious meal at Goldenrod and laughing hysterically about how they're not at Creamland and just having a great time at Goldenrod. Yes.
I mean, I do like Goldenrod. I mean,
I've never been there, but
it depends what I'm looking for because the Goldenrod you can go inside at least. You can eat inside.
Yeah, that's all, it's open all year round.
Yeah.
I don't go there either. I haven't been.
You live right down the street.
Yeah.
I wonder if anybody there has any idea all the free publicity they've gotten on these shows.
Probably not.
Probably not. Wouldn't
No.
that be awesome, though, if somebody went into Goldenrod and was like, I was hearing about you on WMNH, and they're just like,
great.
What? We don't sponsor WMNH. What are you talking about? It's like, no, they're always talking about you.
I think Easy G's boss at Creamland is thrilled that he's talking it up about Creamland on the show.
Well, yeah, but didn't he also say that he got threatened? Like his boss, Nicole, that she threatened to fire him because he mentioned Goldenrod while he was at work, and she said something to him like, "Hey, you want to keep your job?"
I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, he said that the other day.
Well, he better mind his P's and Q's.
Yes,
that's what we should really do. We should have a show because we could do it at Goldenrod, or I mean Creamland. Which either one.
Right.
We could do the show at Creamland and then just talk about Goldenrod.
Oh, that's pretty mean. That'd be pretty
funny. That would be funny. Yes.
That'd be good.
Yeah. Well, because he called. What was it yesterday? He called Peter's show. Were you there when he called in and he was talking about he wanted to do a live remote? He wanted the morning show to do a live remote
from Creamland, right?
From Creamland.
So Peter asked him, "Are we going to get there at 7 in the morning?"
Right. Yeah. Oh, we're going to have some clams and ice cream at 7 a.m. Huh? Great idea, Easy G.
You know, his heart is in the right place. I just don't know where his head is.
Right, well, you always know where his head is. You can't miss it. He's got that big head.
The bulbous, yes.
I think he did. I think he did do some steroids, and that's why he's so buff.
He's pretty buff.
Yeah.
He always wears the muscle shirts.
Right. Yes.
All the time this summer.
It's very intimidating.
Showing off those guns.
Yes.
Eric's motto is "Suns out, guns out."
Right. I've heard him say that.
I've heard him say it too.
Many times.
And you know, he likes wearing those shirts too.
He does.
He shows off his muscles.
I can't imagine ever doing. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have muscles, Dad.
That's a key ingredient, correct? Which I have none.
Well, that would be so. If you start working out and you get some muscles in the next 10 years, and then you'll be able to put some pictures of yourself in the book.
Absolutely.
Yeah. with your face covered, because we can't apparently know your true identity.
No,
but,
you can't.
But we'll be able to see your muscles.
Yeah, bulging.
Yes.
I doubt it.
You can come talk on the show about the book. We'll just have to blur your face and do like the voice.
Right.
Voice recognition.
The voice,
non-recognition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Distort your voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like a really deep voice. You could talk about the book.
Right.
Could I talk about the book?
I'm not going to read the book, but you can talk about the book.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, man.
And you could talk to EZG about, anabolic steroids.
I feel so bad for him with those feet.
Tell you where to inject them.
His feet are
well, that's
so
what you
massive.
get for abusing steroids.
Apparently.
Yes. That's what happened to all these wrestlers and these bodybuilders from the 80s.
I tell you, who's been really great is Mike Martineau.
Yeah.
He comes on and, the guy just constantly plugs away and does a great job at whatever he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
very
involved.
Travels with that
NHTI, right?
Softball team. Yeah. And he was at Skumpi's show.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And Peter wasn't.
Right.
My goodness.
Yeah. So Mike Martineau really is a better friend than Peter.
Quite possibly.
Yes.
I've already warned my dad we're not allowed to talk about this on the show tonight.
Oh, I assumed. Yeah.
Unless Skumpi calls in.
Right. And then, what can you do?
Who knows what happens?
Right. Yes.
Well, the cat will be out of the bag, and we'll be able to do whatever we want.
Right. Yes.
Not you over there.
No.
I'll keep my place.
Yeah, you'll keep your place. Or your mic will get shut off.
That cat stays in the bag.
I've never done that before, but I've threatened him with that before.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill O'Reilly used to do that on Fox News. Every once in a while, he'd yell, "Cut his mic!"
Really?
Yeah, he'd silence people occasionally.
He's no longer on the air?
Oh, no, he hasn't been for a long time.
I know this.
Well, he does a show online now, but he's not on Fox anymore because,
a little discrepancy there.
Well, the whole sexual harassment thing, you're not really supposed to do that, Oh, hello to Fred Bonig in the Facebook live chat. Yeah, like if you've got females working for you, you're not supposed to buy someone a loofah and tell them what they, give them some suggestions.
Yes.
I think that was the first sexual harassment scandal that he went through.
There's been more than one?
It was involving a loofah sponge.
Oh, geez.
For real. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, that was like, he took the young lady out to dinner, gave her a present, said, I can come over and help you clean yourself with it.
Yike.
Yeah, that's not, you're not really, like in a professional setting, you're not really supposed to, to say that.
And there's been a lot of high-powered individuals that have been taking a hit.
As we have learned.
All over the place.
Yes. So.
Well, I think it's the women's movement, current one.
Me Too movement.
The Me Too movement has been awesome. For way too many years, women have been disrespected, and I'm moved by their ability to take charge.
Right.
And I don't think it would be a bad thing if we had a woman become president.
Right.
I don't think that'd be bad at all.
Well, we very nearly did.
It was close.
It was close.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Aside from the electoral,
Well, yeah.
We put that aside and
right.
we got to win.
Right.
Some states have gotten rid of the electoral.
I heard that. I heard 16.
So
was it 16 states have done it?
Is it that many?
I didn't think it was that many. It could be.
I thought I heard that this morning.
I know it was. I think there was like 2 or 3 rapid fire that voted it in place, but I didn't know it was 16.
Yeah. Does it have to? Can it be done state by state without any constitutional interference?
I guess.
It doesn't make any sense.
I think it's more of like the delegates situation. I think that's what they're They're getting rid of that whole.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I didn't know they could actually do that and have it affect
exactly.
I
didn't think they could do it legally.
I didn't know. No.
Yeah.
Because it made quite a difference the last election. We're still paying for it.
Indeed.
Well, I think the walls are closing in a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's hard to say, though, because the wheels of governmental progress move extremely slow.
Well, to me, though, I mean, he's like a supervillain. The more you do to him, the stronger he gets.
Seems that way.
He still has a 90% approval rating among Republicans. It's like...
well, apparently they're not paying attention to what's going on. How can he have the 90% through Republicans and 0 with Democrats? What's up with that? It speaks volume as to how bad things are in our whole government.
Yeah. I mean,
think we ought to blow it up.
Oh, no. Oh, be careful saying things like that.
Well, in a figuratively, not literally, just figuratively.
You're going to get a knock at the door.
And you know what, though? We all know the Democrats and the Republicans can't get along. I just want them to find the middle. They are unable to find the middle. It's not that hard to find. But
no, I agree.
The problem is they're not looking.
Right.
You have to decide to look for it to find it.
Right.
And they're not even making the slightest thing. That meeting yesterday, the one about the infrastructure, which we really, really need in this country, you don't have to go any further than looking out in this state
you're
to
not
see
kidding.
the horrible condition our roads and bridges are. And,
Absolutely.
We're right on target to make some progress, but he doesn't want to make progress until the Democrats stop investigating. Good news, the Democrats aren't investigating. He's investigating himself. Just with his actions.
Right.
I mean, really, you don't have to travel too far to see what he's up to.
Yeah.
Yike. The Southern District, though, is going to come down hard.
That's the real threat to him. That's what I've said all along.
Absolutely, and I can't wait till the gavel hits.
Well, on that note, we're going to wrap up because we got to get Ben over here into the hot seat. The weekly Dion is next, and I'm very honored. I will be the guest on that program. So,
and you will be on the hot seat.
Yes, I'll be on the hot couch, I guess.
Yes, you will.
Let's see. And if you missed any part of this program today or any of the shows that air here on WMNH, we do archive them all at WMNHradio.org. And that's it for me for now. I'll be back tomorrow. Well, I'll be back on the next show as a guest, but then I'll be back with this show tomorrow. Don't forget also the morning show, of course. We did mention the morning show. Weekdays 7 to 9 a.m. here on WMNH. And Rob Azevedo, we were talking about him and his book a few minutes ago. Rob's show, Granite State of Mind, airs immediately following this one on Fridays here on WMNH. And Weekly Don is up next. Talk at y'all a little bit later. Bye, everybody.
While the black band's sweating in the rhythm I'm rolling. Gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
IPMNation.com.